has allowed 72 points in the last 2 weeks. They lost them both. The Cowboys are 1-2. Let's take a listen to the podcast.
Start of the season hasn't been great, but like I said, it's been humbling. This is our test, because without a test, there is no testimony, man. I still have dreams of being a Super Bowl champion. I still have dreams and aspirations of, going as far as I can into this year and this year, and obviously reaching that Super Bowl.
Okay, Brew, you're no fan of the Super Bowl talk out of the Cowboys.
No. Well, I'm glad to see Micah goes to church, because Greg knows that no testimony without a test. So, no, I don't like the Super Bowl talk. And what's the question?
The question is more like Dallas misses the playoffs or makes the Super Bowl.
Because I like this question.
Oh, so
It's clearly missed the playoffs. Because they got no chance of winning the Super Bowl.
No, it didn't say win. It said make. You like the questions. They have no chance of making the Super Bowl.
We've seen them in the playoffs. We've seen this show before. Dak's 2-5 in the playoffs. And the last 3 have been pretty comical, the way they've ended, right? The last year was comical because they got blown out.
Last 3 seasons, not last 3 playoff games.
Yeah, last 3 seasons, right.
Yeah,
last 3 seasons.
Sure.
With just strange endings, all right? So, no, they cannot make it to the Super Bowl. They can miss the playoffs because this is their, they got the first place schedule. These are their out-of-division games. Pittsburgh, losable. Detroit, San Francisco, Atlanta, Houston, Cincinnati, and Tampa Bay. That's a tough schedule.
And now that Washington.
Now Washington can play.
Yeah.
So you got Philadelphia and Washington. They very well might split both of those games, those series, and they'll probably sweep the Giants. So, it's a good chance they miss the playoffs.
Honestly, I'm not ready to blow past that game.
I'm not either.
I said the other day, I want to watch
I'll blow past
They'll be on a tomato can watch if they lose that game.
I'll blow past the Giants game.
But outside of that.
And so I'm not talking about the Giants game in 2 months because who knows how the teams are going to look health-wise. But the Giants game in 2 days, I'll blow past it.
Okay.
So here's my answer is what I would bet right now on is on neither. I think they're going to make the playoffs and lose in short order. That's what I think is the most likely outcome for the Dallas Cowboys season. But to dismiss their chances of making the Super Bowl, and I know you think they can make the playoffs, correct?
Yeah, I picked them to
You're
make
right.
the playoffs.
You think they can make the playoffs. You have to tell me who's great in their conference, because the answer is nobody. Right now, it's nobody.
Green Bay looks they don't even have they not only don't have their quarterback, they've got a guy that really doesn't throw it that well, and they're
I think that the coaching job there has been immaculate, and I give him a ton of credit. It's hard for me to say a team whose quarterback is injured right now is in great shape. And Jordan, I didn't think played great in week 1. If you want to say Green Bay, so be it. But the Niners, who were a massive contender, are in shambles is too strong, but injured and don't look great. The Rams, who I liked a lot before the year, are injured and just saved their season. There's no one in the NFC South, to me, that is contender, that like, oh my God, that's a juggernaut. The Lions have looked shaky. The Eagles have looked shaky. Point being, I don't think there is a great team right now that's established itself in the NFC. Do you disagree? You think there's a great team in the NFC?
I just think several of the teams that you named have showed me more than the Cowboys have this year.
I agree with that. I agree that they have shown more through 3 weeks. But there is no team right now in the NFC that I feel like, if the Cowboys play their A game and the other team plays their A game, the Cowboys have no chance of beating. There's no team that
stop the run.
They can't run. And a lot of those teams will run on it.
Yeah.
Where's the A game?
Well, no, they haven't shown it yet.
I don't know. A lot of those teams will run.
I'll jump on the whole idea of tomato cans. In the postseason, there are no tomato cans. And so if we're saying that the Cowboys only beat up on tomato cans, the likelihood of them making the Super Bowl, it ain't happening. Like history tells me, if you just go back, let's say about 30 years or so,
they don't make.
Yeah, they don't make the Super Bowl.
I understand, but the history tells us if you go back 3 years or so, they don't miss the playoffs. And I think the current history is more relevant than 30 years of history. Like this roster with Dak as the quarterback and McCarthy as the coach
but it's not about
doesn't miss the
them
playoffs.
making the playoffs. The question is
about them.
Well, it is. It kind of is. It's a binary question. It's saying there's one of 2 doors you're going to walk through. They either miss the playoffs door or they make the Super Bowl.
I feel like you guys
Nick, if they play Green Bay, what's Green Bay going to do?
Run the ball.
Run the ball.
Yeah.
If they play Philadelphia, what's Philadelphia going to do? Run the football.
Yeah, I
San Francisco even run the foot like that. I don't know that they have the personnel, at least in Mike Zimmer's defense, because when they were mediocre against
Quinn, there's a line in the sand when Dan Quinn left that building and Mike Zimmer came in, where this team does not look the same.
No, I totally agree. They don't look good thus
So I don't know, but I think well, he's always 12-5 like this.
No.
Mike McCarthy, thumbs up. I think we have to throw that all in the garbage.
Okay, so I definitively disagree.
They gave up. The Ravens did anything they wanted to them. The week after, the Saints did anything they wanted to them. The one thing we used to hang our hat on was they're unstoppable in Dallas. They're not. They've lost their last games.
Do you think it's legitimate right now if someone says they think the Baltimore Ravens are going to make the Super Bowl?
100%.
Have they looked like that, a Super Bowl team at any point this year?
Yes, they had
first half against Dallas. First three
well, yes,
quarters.
they did anything they wanted to against Dallas. They had a little bit of a meltdown in the fourth quarter.
Right. So
but they won the game. They went toe-to-toe, literally, with the world champions.
Okay.
So I think I think you get credit for that. The Cowboys beat up
and then they
on the worst team in the league, on the worst offense in the league. Dallas got in there in Cleveland, like, wow, the Cowboys are back.
Yeah, so
had a little miniature parade, and then got smoked.
No, so maybe I'm crazy. I totally agree. The Cowboys have not looked. They haven't looked like a Super Bowl team. They haven't looked like a playoff team. But Brew, you don't think I'm crazy for thinking they're going to make the playoffs?
No.
I don't think you do either. They have.
But
maybe you think I'm crazy for thinking they're going to make the playoffs.
I'm just saying, looking at the way they've played, their personnel now, the schedule. I think it's more likely they miss the playoffs. Especially, again, with Washington now looking pretty good, than that they get to the Super Bowl.
I think that the Cowboys absolutely look awful when they play bad, which is kind of which not all teams look awful when they play bad. You know what I mean? And so the Cowboys, when they play bad, it gets totally away from them immediately. I still think they have enough blue chip talent that if one of the things Micah said in his podcast was if the team gets rolling at the end of the year, they're dangerous. I believe that's on the board of possible outcomes. Your dismissal of them because of how bad they looked for 7 of their last 8 quarters is, to me, a little too reactionary given how talented I think the roster is. Maybe I'll be dead wrong. And again, I didn't pick them before the year or during the year to even make the conference championship game. I just don't think they're going to win 8 games.
Greg?
I think they're too talented.
I struggle because they were rolling at the end of last year and just got mopped in the first round.
Well, that I think is on the board, but I just don't
see any way
I just don't think they're going to be an 8-win team. I think if Dak Prescott's healthy, they're not going to be an 8-win team. So again, if you're giving me 2 doors to walk through, they have a season from hell disaster, miss the playoffs, or they catch a break in the postseason and finally get hot. I'll walk through that one.
Going to try to dig out of a nearly impossible 0-3 hole. Take a listen.
We're not happy with where we're at, but by no means is the season over.
Touchdowns in the first
We're
half.
0-3. There's 14 left to play. We just have to continue to get better and, see where the cards fall in the next, 10 weeks, whenever the bye is. So we just got to go into this week preparing to get better and trying to get a win. That's all you can do.
Okay, quarterbacks get all the money, get all the praise. Does Burrow deserve the blame here, too?
No, that's a great point, because if they were 3-0, he would be getting all the praise. All right, so I know he's played very well. All right, he's got no interceptions all season, got 5 touchdowns. He's played fine. They scored 33 last night. Usually that's going to win you the game. But where I blame Joe Burrow is these inexplicably poor starts to every season. This is his career. 0-2, 1-1. That's the year they went to the Super Bowl. 0-2, 0-2, 0-3. And I get last year the injury, but he did play. But even if you take that year out, this is on the leader. You're the quarterback. You're the leader. And I think the Joe Cool attitude is great for them, especially now when they're 0-3. He's not going to panic. But I wonder if maybe there's not that sense of urgency because your leader – I'm just throwing it out there. It has such a cool, laid-back persona that they don't enter